Hello, it is May 18th. It is Thursday. We're going to go over the markets for today. So it's a little bit sideways day, then a ramp back up right at, starting at, what was the low? 12:45 p.m., then pretty much straight up the rest of the day right here. We've had a couple big things happen today. The first one right here, the S&P 500, it hit this right here. Excuse me, the 5-wave L8 move when it got to 41.90 right there. So it hit the 5-wave move. So that one is complete as far as the 5-wave move. Now we can start looking for the retracement whenever that's going to happen. You can see down here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 right there. So we will look for the pullback, and the pullback we're looking for is going to be this purple line right there. So that's 50%. So whenever the retracement happens, whenever the high gets set and the retracement happens, currently right now it's around, what is that? 4145.25. So that's the retracement we'll be looking for whenever that happens, assuming this high holds, which it'll probably go higher. But whenever it stops going higher, that's when we'll keep on drawing the retracement back up to it. And so that is what we are looking for. Also, here we had the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 days right here. We had been in this range. Here's the lower black line. Here's the upper black line that I drew on there. Again, these lines are really subjective, but they give you a framework for, I think of it like a painting. The bars all moving on it. That is the paint on the picture, and then the frame is these bars right here. That's the frame of it. And so it looked pretty good. Just waffling back and forth. We're just going to see what's going to happen. And then yesterday it broke out, and it wasn't a fake breakout either, because as you can see, it came back down, and it just happened to be where it bounced off of, was where I drew the black line for the resistance area that turned support. So there's no science to it. You just look for the area that seems to have the most touches, stick your bar on there, or stick the line on there, and then watch how price bounces off of it. So I don't use it to trade off of, just use it to see what phase the market is in. So we can go ahead and remove those right now. And so now it is just in a straight uptrend right there. We definitely have a trend channel. I mean, we could look at, I don't know if you could use that one. Probably use about that right there for that. And then if you draw the bottom side up to the top side, you'd be looking at something about like that right there, assuming that high holds, could keep going up. But that seems to be the trend channel right now that it is currently in, going up. So yeah, that's where it's at. Now there are a couple of trades we're looking for the pullbacks to. One is the previous day high lows trade, so you can just see the Fibonacci retracement level. We're looking for it to come down to 50%. When it does down there, the first target will be the 38% right there. But if it continues to blow through that, hits the 61.8 before hitting the 38, then the target moves back to the 50%. Right here, there was a real nice trade this morning that I took live here when I was doing my live streaming for it, and it was based on, it was because at the time, this is a pretty big move right here from this opening candle right here. So price close, there we have the opening candle, the body of it, we draw the bar, or so we draw the box right there for the box trade. Closed above it, that means we are looking for an upside target right here, which is going to be the 1.414 right there. So where price was currently waffling in right around there. I had an entry right down here, because when it hits the lower end of the box, we move the target down to the upper end of the box right there. So that would have been a decent trade, a little two-point trade or so. But at the time, I think I got in about right here, because the exit was all the way up here, good 7.5 point trade. So I just figured, we'll try to be greedy, and if it does rocket up, it'll give us a real nice trade, which thank goodness it did. And so that's how that one worked right there. So that one is done. And then we also had the daily trade is done as well. So the daily retracement trade, that's the previous day's one we're looking at. The daily one was done as well. We just draw from the low. When this thing gets filled right here, when we have the price close right there, we're looking for it to come down to hit the 50%. It never did. So we just keep on drawing this up until it comes back and hits it. And it happened right here. Unfortunately, I missed this trade. I was looking to take it. I got distracted, missed it. You can see it came down, hit it off perfectly, right up to the 38%. So unfortunately, right there, if it even would have filled me, that was a nice little about 4.5 point trade right there. But initiated when hit the 50, but went all the way down to 61.8, and that's where I take it. So that says P500. You know, we're just waiting for to see when the market is going to pull back. We'll look at the MFI right here. The MFI 4-hour chart, it's getting closer to being overbought over there, but still not quite there yet. So got a little ways to go. And the daily chart is in the middle of nowhere. We go here. We can see tomorrow there's going to be some movements tomorrow. The Powell is going to speak tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow with that. If he hints that the rate hikes are going to slow down our end, then look for the market to go even more higher, and I think that's what was happening at the end of today. But and it maybe someone else said something, I don't know. Let's see. Well, this guy said something. What did he say? Nothing close to being done on debt ceiling talks. Oh, okay. Well, interesting. Well, the market even rallied after that guy said that, even though that was high impact, so you thought it would have gone down. So, and what did this guy say? I expect inflation to continue coming down in line with foil. Okay, well that's probably why the market was going up as well right there. April stronger, food and price too high. We using pause to see whether we have rates enough. The June rate decision will be guided by economic data. Friday will be thinking of internet interest rate cuts. Interesting. So some conflicting stuff out there, but tomorrow will be interesting when Powell speaks to see what exactly is going to happen. But that's what the market seems like it's banking on, is that the rate cuts will either be paused or slowed down, and that's what's going up. But if not, he said nope, we're going to increase it or something like that, then look for the decline. But eventually there will be the pullback to it. But right now the market is definitely in bull mode. Going here to the Russell, we still have a couple trade setups right here. One is the 15-minute trade, the reversal trade, not the Fibonacci 50% trade right here. This is one I'm still waiting for. I'm hoping price will come up and get closer to. In fact, I may just get in when the market opens back up right here. Just go ahead and get into it. But typically, what happens when you get a run up each of the 2 days, you get another run up right here. Price will at least come up to usually about right here, the 1.146. So I'll probably have another short entry right about there, and that is also close to the 4.236 extension level as well. And I'll be looking for a retracement all the way back down to the 50% line at 1747 for that one. And also one thing to note right here, this would be a valid trade. Unfortunately, since I'm already in it the other way, I can't take it. But when price comes back down and hits this right here, 1761, look for a pop off of it. But if the price continues to go lower and doesn't pop off and come back up, we'll just say this is a high right there. Look for at least to go to the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level from that high, and that would be at 1768.6 around there. But if not, price keeps going low, hits this one down here, the 1.146 level, then the exit would be right up here at the 1761 right there. So that'd be a trade I'd be looking at taking, because this thing, the daily, no, excuse me, that's not it. Never mind. Ignore me right there. You use the previous day's highs and lows for it. So I'm getting myself confused with that, because like right there, you can see there's the previous days. There's that day. See, it hit it, went up, and then went up. Then you could have gotten in right here when it came back down, because you look for it to take off. Blew right through it, but then hit the 1.146, came back up, hit the 1.44 level right there. So no, never mind. Just disregard that last minute or two I was talking about right there. But eventually for the Russell 2000, we are looking for a pullback down here to the 1747 level. MFI 4-hour chart, middle of no man's land. Daily chart, middle of no man's land. And that's the Russell. Dow Jones, not a whole lot to say about Dow Jones today. They had a real small open bar, so not much you can do with it as well. It's just mimicking as far as going up late in the day like every other market right there. You can see from the previous day, extension went up to the 146, and then it ended that day right there. And then for the previous days, 50% trade, came back, hit the 50% easily, and then hit the 38 right up there. So that's about it for the Dow Jones. Going over to crude oil, you can see the previous day's 50% trade hit off the 50 real nicely. I had an entry down here at the 61.8. Obviously didn't go down there and get hit, and it went up and got filled at the 38% right there. So that is that one for crude oil. Then we were looking at, we had this one. This would have been a great trade. I missed out. I was looking at something else as well. So that's the general theme of missing out on good trades by being distracted. We had a close below it right there. There's the opening bar. There's the box. Let's get this a little more accurate. About right there-ish. And there's the opening bar. We were looking for the target going down to 1.414 right there. And price did not get down there. Price went up, hit the top of the box right there. That's where my entry would have been if I was paying attention to it, and then came back down, hit the bottom for a 30 tick gain for it. So that is crude oil. Also for the short Fibonacci trade from when it got set up, came back up, hit the 50, down to the 38, and maybe even hit the 61. I'd have to look on the one. Let's see what the 1 minute chart shows for it. Price came back up, hit the 50, down 38. Yeah, so never even hit the 61.8 for it to get in there. So that is oil for the day. And we also had, was it oil? No, I think it's Bitcoin. I'm going to show the confirmation I had about taking the 50% trade the other way. But then, let's see, let's look at this right here. Oh, never mind. It worked out. You see, we came down here for today. There was the support level for the daily extension trades. Here it hit that, and then when it went up and hit the other end, it reversed back and had enough resistance for that one before it went up and took off. Now, I would not come back and take that trade right there, just because when it hit this level and then blow through it, we had that pullback to it. That's enough to get out of it, so I don't look to get back into it when price comes back and hits it like that. Going over to the the Nasdaq market. This was setup I was looking at in the drawing these trend lines, and I was talking about the other day and today in the live trading, is that it looked like an ascending triangle, ascending wedge, whatever you want to call it. Price is rocking back forth, looking good, and then late yesterday it broke out. I was thinking maybe that's a fake breakout before we go back the other way, and it didn't. It took off from it, so that setup doesn't look to be that useful at all. In fact, I use it as support coming off of it, but it did create a couple of good trades right here. Let's look at this one right here first. So we have the daily 50% trade we are looking at for it to come back to, and oh, I'm sorry, that's not it. Nope, that wasn't it. This was just the overall Nasdaq trade that eventually we're looking for the 50% to come back to, which would be this bar right here, this 13,031-ish right there. That's where we're looking for the retracement to eventually happen, come back to whenever the high decide it wants to hold, which it's not which it keeps on going up, so no big deal. And then, but it did create a really good trade setup right here, where what we're looking for, we're using the previous days high and low. Let's get it right there. All right, and so what we're looking for is, you see price went up, hit the 1.146 today, and then just rocketed on higher. Came somewhat close to hitting the 1.44, but didn't quite hit. So the trade that I will be taking is, I'll have a buy right on that orange bar right there, and then the exit will be the 23.6 right there, so around 13,789. And then price keeps on going lower and hits the 1.146. Then we move the exit just to that bar right there. And so that's the trade I will be looking at taking for that. There is also a, let's see, where's the low of the day? This is the low. There is also the daily 50% trade we could take right there. When price comes down, reverses, hits the 50%, Look for the exit right here at the 38%. Keeps on going lower. It's 61.8. Then the exit moves to the 50%. So that trade is valid as well. And that's not all. We still even have another one down here, which I'm not even worried about right now, going up from the previous days because the 50% never even got hit the other way. So you can see now it's just creating a jillion lines on the chart for it. So to be honest, I'm not really worried about either of those right now. This is the main one I'm looking at for it right there. Going over to Bitcoin. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was crude oil. Hold on. I had a little meltdown during the day because I was trying to get in a crude oil trade and it wouldn't let me because AMP was protecting me from myself, even though I was not happy with them at the time because it wouldn't let me put an order on because I think this Friday the contract specs roll over to the next month. So thank you, AMP, for saving me from myself. And what I was looking at is using the daily retracement trade. Going up over here, you can see how price blew through the 50% right there, went to the 61, didn't quite hit the 50, but then kept on going lower. And so what I want to see is, can you take it the other way, even though price, blew through it and things like that? And it looks like you can, because even though it went quite a ways from it, it eventually came back up and hit the 50% right there to get out of that trade. So we'll keep monitoring it and see what happens for it. I'm not too confident yet to put this as a major trade for it. So that is what we were looking at today. You can see from the opening chart from it right here at Bitcoin, there's the 15-minute right there. It eventually closed lower in it right there, came back up, so that means we're going to short it, came back up and hit that bar, and then came back down for Bitcoin and hit there for, no, I'm sorry, that's oil, never mind, that's oil. Bitcoin, let's look at that. I don't think I looked at it too much today. There was 830 bar. Here is the 830 bar right there. And you can see how the price closed above it. So we take the low of the day, which was right here, and it was already pretty much said and done right there. So we're going up, and it was a real weird day for it. So it closed up, so you'd be looking at taking back down to the 50, and it was already all jumbled up in it. So that's one of those trades I don't even look at for it because it's so weird for that one. So going to the next day for it, going up, there's a 50% short trade for Bitcoin right here. Starting off right there, price hits the 50, the exit's 38. If it blows through to the 61, then the exit goes back to the 50 right there. And then if we look at this way, going this way for Bitcoin, you can see how the 50% trade for yesterday going to the long side, price came back down, hit right off the 50 and went up to the 38% right there to complete that. So obviously the 50% trade, if I was thinking about taking it because missing out a lot of trades where it hits the 50%, goes ahead and takes it, but when it doesn't and it blows through it, it gets you in at least two contracts because you also have a contract at the 61.8. And just like the oil trade, you don't want to get stuck too much in it. So just rather be safe than sorry. But anyways, that's it for today. Probably have another live session tomorrow. And take care. Bye.